They can hear me, and they can hear you.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, folks, to episode 214 of the JAC Show. I'm the generally beautiful and moronic hack.
I'm your favorite VTuber, Jack.
And we are... Just a dramatic... No, it's a dramatic pause. Dang it, you ruined it. You ruined the bit. You're fired. Get out of here. Get out of here.
No, you can't fire me. I fire you.
You can't fire me. I quit. All right, I'm back. All right, I was rehired. We negotiated behind the scenes.
He took the audience with him.
No, but welcome, folks. I'm trying to get my live show mojo back on. It's been too long, and plus, I really wanted to stream more Fatal Fury on my personal channel, but all of last week there was no opportunity for me to do so. So all my streaming mojo is just gone. So I gotta building up. Thanks to our new sponsor, Monster Zero. No, we're not sponsored, not yet. I'm still waiting for that Tubi offer. But they have to come to me. I won't go to them. That's how it works.
Yep, totally.
So hello, Johnny. Says that casting couch are ruthless every day. It's less of a couch and more of a sofa. I'll put it that way. Speaking of old sofas and worn out things, I
Yes.
did some thrift shopping over the weekend, and this will be a very quick, not even a story, just a quick anecdote. So, Jack, do you know the pleasure of thrift shopping?
Of course, that's all we ever did in my family with my tax bracket.
Well, funny enough, I never seen my family do it, but my grandmother, I remember over a decade ago, I would have to tag along with my grandmother, and she would basically go from thrift store to thrift store finding. Honestly, I never paid attention to what she actually found. As soon as I got in, I was like, okay, where's the movie section? Where's the toy section? And just what weird stuff can I find? And I remember back in the 2010s, at least in the thrift stores that are around our area, for some reason, people wanted to get rid of their horror movies, because that was the most common thing I saw all the time was VHS copies of horror movies. You don't realize how many copies of Scream, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, I Know What You Did Last Summer, all those all those horror movies on VHS just took up so much space during the 2010s at our local thrift stores. I don't know why. Maybe DVDs or Blu-rays. I don't know. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. Now, over the weekend, I did some thrift shopping, and it was mostly just to have something to do on a Sunday. I decided to go to a thrift store that I've gone to during that time when I would go with my grandmother, and thinking of, it's like, oh, it's still the same nice big open wide thrift store with a big old sign. Unfortunately, that thrift store has seen better days, and it has downsized tremendously, and they don't even have the big sign anymore. It's a shame.
Ooh.
Yep. Yeah, but I went in not knowing what to expect, and just, all right, let's look around. It was a tiny thrift store with majority of the stuff was just clothing, but there were they had this sections in the back of the store was a whole bunch of shelves full of movies and books, and I'll get to that part a little bit later. But when I walked in, usually like any other store, you walk in, and the first thing that's in the front is gonna be where the cashiers are, or the place to check out. Well, I'll go around it, and I saw a CD rack So it was a so it was a rack. It was a spinning rack full of CDs. And as someone who likes to collect CDs, I was like, you know what? Maybe I might find something here. Also, hello, get 'em. And no, we are not gonna. No, I will not support your protest, Johnny, of unbanning low tier god on MK.
Oh my god.
I'm sure that was a well deserved ban. The fact it took this long, just says something. Anyways, we're going to the CD spinner rack, and a lot of the stuff usually when you go to thrift stores is like Christmas CDs, CDs of classical music, obscure stuff from like really independent artists, like so indie, only two people know who they are. But I found amongst all this coal, I found, Jack, not just one diamond, I found 3 diamonds in that rack.
Oh.
And I actually have a picture I'm going to show here on stream, and I'm going to appear on the sources for you, Jack, so you could take a look. Now, for those who are in my Discord, you're already aware of what this would be, but for everyone else, here you go, Jack. I shared on the sources, but for everyone else, in that thrift store, I found the entire series of Star Trek, the original Star Trek series from the 1960s, all 3 seasons in that thrift store on the CD spinner rack, all on DVD, and it surprisingly it was actually in good working condition, as I did test these out when I bought these. And keep in mind that that each of these you can kind of see on the picture, these are priced at $6.96, so round out to about $7 each. I paid about $21 just for the the DVDs. And keep in mind that to actually buy these things brand new or at least slightly used online would cost you at the minimum like $45 plus whatever shipping fees you gotta pay.
Mm-hmm.
Good fine, especially since I really do enjoy the original Star Trek show for what it is. So so that made me very happy when I discovered that, of all places, in a thrift store. And it and cause and it just reminds me that a lot of the stuff that ends up in a thrift store, most people don't even know what they're holding, and it's the best feeling when you recognize value and you get a good steal out of it. And also in that picture, this gets a couple comics. That's not too important. I just want to share the fact that now I have the entirety of the original Star Trek show, and it's actually a really well done DVD, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
It actually has like an interactive menu. So they bothered to like at least give it some nice Star Trek aesthetics and use sound effects from the shows and just make it as Star Trekky as it could be. But then they went an extra mile, Jack. They went an extra mile that only Star Trek nerds would appreciate. And so as I'm looking through the collection and just seeing what it is, I noticed that the episodes, they are, so when you play the DVDs in order, you're watching the show as each episode airs. So from the pilot episode all the way to the final episode of season 3. That in itself is nothing special. It's just how things are. That's how when you buy TV shows on disc, that's how they're ordered. But Star Trek goes an extra step, Jack. They go an extra step. Not only do they show you the original air date of when these episodes were aired on TV, but next to it, they also give the star date of every episode, meaning that they went above and beyond and say, not only can you watch the show in broadcast order, you could also watch the show in chronological order.
I think that's pretty cool. I like that idea.
That that blew. It's such a small thing, but but to me it blows my mind because number one, who will go through all the effort to look at every episode and just listen to when the captain says this is stardate 2256.137. Write that down and then had to compile. Okay, it had to compile. Okay, this is earliest, this is later, and all of that nonsense. And keep in mind, it's all the start dates and all of that for these episodes. It's all over. It's all over the place. It's not something that's neatly done. So, for example, on the very first disc where the first 3 episodes of the show aired, they on the DVD menu it shows the actual numbered order of where these episodes align chronologically, and because of that you'll have one disc, like the one example I choose, where you have the first episode is technically the A story chronologically. The second episode is the 6th, and then the third episode is the 2nd. So, if you really watch this in order, if you have this collection, you're literally going to, like, if you want to watch it in chronological order, you're going to be busy taking out discs, putting another one in, watching that, and take out another one if you want to watch it in the star date order. The only way this will work, Jack, this very inconvenient thing is if you have the money and the luxury to have a multi-disc DVD player. That's the only way to conveniently do this and watch it in the star date order for those Star Trek nerds who want to watch it that way, and they complain online about how they shouldn't have put the. Nah, this is a mistake. They shouldn't put this on this place because in this episode, Uhura said and then Sulu said, which contradicts what happens. You see what I mean?
No, I forgot about the multi-disc DVD players.
Yeah. Well, because barely anyone had them because they were so expensive at the time. But now,
well, even then, I remembered vividly my dad bought one from the flea market.
Oh! Wow.
It stopped working after a while.
Well, that explains it. That explains it.
Yeah.
Funny enough,
but it was nice when we had it.
Funny enough, I still have one thing from the flea market I still own to this day, and it is my copy of the original Metroid Prime for GameCube. That not only works, but it came with 2 copies. And yes,
of the game.
Yes. So technically I have 2 copies of Metroid Prime. Now the one that's properly inside the case works. I never tried the one that for some reason they put it in the inside the slip cover. I never tried that, so I have no idea if that even works. But hey, it came with 2 copies of the same game, and I pay only for the price of one.
By mistake. Just like imagine 10 minutes later, like, oh yes, we have a copy. Where'd you put it, Frank? I put it inside the game, the cartridge.
Nope.
We had a different game in there.
All of that, but you gotta do it in a Spanish accent because I bought it from like a real Mexican flea market.
Oh man. I just picture my parents actually.
Funny enough, the same flavor when I got that game, I went back to it many years later. Unfortunately, they no longer have that little game store. They're gone. So I was like, dang it. And then even when I looked around, there was nothing there for me. Not even like a place to buy movies or even like electronic doohickeys. Oh,
yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah. Oh, though speaking of, there was something in that same thrift store, which I'm coming to the end of this, that I did find that I might go back for. And it's for something that's extremely specific. Okay. So over the weekend, I found myself researching different video cables.
Mm-hmm.
and and I'm trying to remember all of that knowledge I lost from my Wii GameCube days, and like learning the 8 component, S video, composite, all of that good jazz. And
Mm-hmm.
and because of the fat TV that I acquired, I thought to myself, I like this TV, and I don't mind being placed outside, even there's a risk to it, but that's a risk you want to take. But I can't use it during the day, which means to
Mm-hmm.
me that if I want to play a Wii game, I can't play a Wii game during the day, and I don't like how Wii games are displayed on my regular TV that's in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was at the thrift store, there was actually a small electronics section, and they had a bunch of monitors to purchase. And there was one monitor that was just that was that had just about every type of video signal you could think of. Jack. It had HDMI, granted early HDMI, but at HDMI, it had PCN, it had component, it had a coax cable, it had what else? It had uh, the other kind of PC cable, but the one with the wider the white one that's like wider than the blue one. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
I don't know what those are called, but it's like the blue one, but white and much more wider. I saw it and I look at it. And I look underneath, and I saw that not only did it have component cables, it had more than just the red, yellow, white plugs. That's the AV, but it had the more superior component cables that have red, green, and blue. So instead of the AV quality, you get to have the RGB quality, which is basically going from 480i to 480p.
I see.
Trust me, it's more impressive to me. In a world of 4K, I know 480p is nothing, but to get a old Wii game to look good on a progressive scan, hey, that means something to me. But and it was at a decent price, like $67, and so I am considering getting that just so I could have a nice small screen I could play during the day. If I want to play a Wii game and actually use the better use the better audio video cables than the regular ones. It's just how far the rabbit hole I've gone, Jack, just because I got a free fat TV. Help me, get me out of this. I need I'm probably gonna get that monitor. Who knows? I might actually make that into my current laptop setup, which and I'll be like, all right, I have a brand new screen, and by brand new, I just mean that it's just a new one I bought. It's much smaller, and doesn't have as much definition, but at least I can play Wii games on it, and that's what counts. So, all right, that's enough of that. That's enough of me being like a nostalgia nerd. I just want to just share what I have been doing over the weekend while also working on YouTube stuff. I don't just look up audio video information. Now, with that said, we can go ahead and move on into some of the topics that I have for today, and I actually want to get a heavy one out. Heavy one out of the way first. I'm sure majority of the people watching, listening, if of our audience are already aware of this, but it must be said. But if let's see, let me remember his name one more time. Jonathan Joss, the voice actor for John Redcorn has unfortunately died due to a fatal gunshot by his neighbor in his hometown of believe it was San Antonio, Texas,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, by the time the paramedics arrived to take him out of the home, he was already declared dead. He died at the age of 59, and this also makes, unfortunately, also the second actor to voice John Redcorn who has met an untimely and unfortunate end. As King of the Hill fans will tell you, the original voice actor for John Redcorn also passed away during the airing of the show, and he was killed in a car accident.
Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, if I was very insensitive, I would say the show is cursed, but I'm not gonna do that. But it is bewildering to acknowledge the fact that many of the cast members of King of the Hill have passed away in all different circumstances. From, of course, Johnny Hardwick, the original voice of Dale Gribble, and not just that, he was also a story editor, and so worked on many of the episodes of King of the Hill, not just as a voice actor. So he was gone. He was the last actor gone, and before him, you had Tom Petty, famous musician, but also the voice of Lucky. He passed away during when did Tom Petty die? I want to say somewhere in the late 2010s, maybe 2018, but either case, Tom Petty passed away, and then before him, the voice actress for Luann, Brittany Murphy, she also passed away. And then going back to the original voice actor for John Redcorn. So yeah, the King of the Hill cast has gone through several losses within its own lifespan and after. Johnny comments. He says, "I know there are people just like this, but something about hearing a voice actor got shot feels a little surreal." Yeah, I think it's mostly because that's not really something you would hear every day. Especially since in American entertainment, voice actors are not put into the high pedestal and high what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying. Okay, they're not put as a high pedestal, and they're not shown as much as your regular actors and celebrities. Where people are trying to get pictures of them and hound them from the paparazzi and so forth. So
Yeah.
humble voice actors are not going to be pushed towards front news unless something serious happens, like what happened with Mr. Jonathan, or if they're involved in some big project. So I think that's really it, and so it is a shame of what happened to him. I try to look more into details, but because he was shot on today, and this was reported a few hours ago, we don't know what went down or why the neighbor shot him or stuff like that. I'm sure that stuff will be revealed as the police will be investigating. But as it stands, all we know is that he was shot and killed on his home property, and it's sad to say. Especially and it's essentially grim news, as just earlier, right before this happened, Hulu released their preview showing the new intro for the King of the Hill revival, which is set to release this summer in, I want to say, August. As As a lot of people are aware, the news of the revival show has been going on for at least, I think, half a decade now, and so it is finally coming to realization. Sooner than you know it, King of the Hill will officially return with basically what would basically be season 14. And to kind of transition from the grim news, I do want to talk at least a little bit on what the show is presenting and what I hope the show accomplishes. So I'm choosing not to see the intro. I'm sure a lot of people who are doing big analysis of all the little things that happen within the new King of the Hill intro. I won't be doing that. I will be seeing the intro when the first episode properly drops. However, I did read about what's gonna be the new what's that word? The new status quo of the show. The new status quo.
Oh.
So Jack, here is so actually, did you actually do any reading on what will be the new status quo for the Hill family?
I already saw everything on the first time it released. I shared it on my channel. The actual intro itself. So I have a general idea of what's happening.
Okay, so as far as the new status quo, one thing that actually catch me was the fact that that the premise of this revival is that Hank and Peggy are returning to Ireland after spending several years in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
That caught me off guard, I will admit. And I'll be like, oh, okay, I would love to hear how the heck did they get these get these two hillbillies out of Texas and into Saudi Arabia of all places.
Even then, I'm more interested on how Peggy survived.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing to witness and to see. And I think I saw a comment where someone joked, it was like, wouldn't it be ironic if Peggy was fluent in Arabic but still sucks at Spanish?
Yeah.
That would be amazing. So yeah, so Yusasco, Hank and Peggy are returning after a long, basically a long working in Saudi Arabia for a different company. They're returning to Ireland. This one has already been established, but Bobby is now a chef at a popular new restaurant that is owned by a fellow classmate of his of Chang Wasanasong. You remember Shane Wasanasong?
Really? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know about Chang, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yes, and for people who have already seen the I think it was the animatics, so not the proper animation, but like but basically the key frames of the episode of what they will be. We do know that Bobby and Khan are in a relationship once again, which, funny enough, in watching a King of the Hill video on YouTube about Bobby and Khan, and Connie, I should say.
Junior.
Yeah, Khan Jr.
If you're gonna say Khan,
yeah.
If you're gonna say Khan, you put in Khan Jr.
Khan Jr. But with Bobby and Connie, one thing that the YouTuber noticed was that them dating in the actual show didn't last that long in the grand scheme of the whole show. So
yep.
So it's interesting to see how they're gonna do what would be like a not a childhood crush, but something like two young adults who grew up with each other, had a fling, and then now they're back together again. I'll see how that goes. Of course, I am wondering to see what all of Hank and his friends and neighbors have been up to in recent years. There's that promotional image that has been released with Bill either becoming a delivery driver or becoming addicted to getting delivery goods. I can believe either one.
Yep.
Dale wearing a VR headset while owning a vape, Which, funny enough, the vaping I could buy only because I
can't buy it.
No, I can buy it only because I did one time. I did work with a manager back in my AutoZone days, where he was a big smoker, much like Dale, and when he had to quit smoking, he did transition to vaping.
Well, here's the reason why I don't buy it. Dale is so paranoid to the fact where he could be like, they're putting chemical inside them vapes. I believe he would say like they're putting some hallucinations that make you loyal to the regime.
Maybe so, but we'll see how. You have a fair point. We'll see how he's characterized. Because also, why is he wearing a VR helmet? Not unless Dale has become a full on, like, he is completely on the internet at all times. Like, I would not be surprised if they make him go the podcaster route.
Or maybe he's just like, did you know that the VR headset gets you out of the Matrix? It's the door outside of the Matrix where the government's putting us under.
I will be waiting for the episode where Dale tries to get everyone to get into cryptocurrency.
Everyone, I got this new place that gets you out of the Matrix. It's called VR chat.
And you can answer by getting my Gribble coin.
You can enter my world if you use Gribble coin.
It's the way of the future of currency. And Boomhauer just looks older. So I do wonder what they're gonna do with him. I know in the original show, his biggest episodes were centered around his life as a bachelor and the pros and cons that go with it. So now that he is much older, we'll see if either he's still trying to live that bachelor lifestyle. He's certainly not. He's certainly keeping his tanning routine, or if he's finally settled down and found a good woman to share his home with. Probably not, but you never know. I also do want to comment. Actually, I really do like the new design for Peggy. I really do. It's she's funny.
She has that 1,000. She has an even more 1,000-yard stare than before.
A little, yeah, a bit, but she's also kind of aged gracefully, and so too Hank. Yeah, out of everyone, aside from maybe Khan and Min, they're like aged the most graceful. Do wonder what Joseph's gonna look like. That I have not seen, just in passing. So either he's not shown yet, or I just have not been looking. But again, another wait and see. And also actually do like the new look, the more older look for Bobby. And everyone's making the comparison that he just looks like what's his Guy Fieri. And it's hard not to notice. Like, if you get the image, put in the sunglasses and the frosted spiky tip hair, that's Guy Fieri. And you know what? That might be intentional.
What if they give him the personality of Guy Fieri throughout the whole thing?
You know what? Consider how much Bobby wanted to be a prop comic. I would not be surprised if they either do an episode where Bobby tries to do his own online cooking show, or if he tried to get his own cookie show on a streaming service. That is something I can believe. And he tells Connie, if we do this, we can finally move out of my parents' house.
Man, I don't know. Well, I don't know about him. I kind of hope that he has his own house. At least is living well off to a certain extent.
Well, we'll see, because in the animatics, it showed Connie and Bobby having relations in Bobby's old bedroom, but I don't know what the context is, and I don't know why Hank, Peggy, Con, and Min are not watching them, but they end up kind of sneaking in to see what the heck's going on in that room, and both of them end up with all their parents seeing them Not during the act, but getting started.
Bobby, that is mahogany wood. How
And
dare you?
and here he goes. Why couldn't you go to a hotel? That's what I did.
But Dad, didn't you tell me you did it on the floor? Bobby.
And with Khan going, aha, I knew you were that nigga was freaky. Oh man. Oh, by the way, speaking of Khan, he was recast because unfortunately I'm saying unfortunately in that the fact that he was recast for what I think is a silly reason, but he was recast with an actual Asian voice actor who more than likely is just gonna do an impression of Khan, much like the original actor.
All I want is that the new voice actor does the laugh. Like ha ha ha. Just like a very short turtled laugh. It's just like ha ha ha.
Mm-hmm. And also, I don't know if you also know about this, but even though Johnny Hardwick has only recorded his lines of deal for only 6 episodes, Dale himself will not be written out, so they have actually properly recasted him, and he will be played.
Okay, that's good.
Yep, and he will be played by voice actor. There's Tony or Toby Huss, one of those two, who previously has played other King of the Hill characters. Most notably, he voiced Cotton. Yeah,
now I remember.
Yep, and I also believe Huss has also been heavily involved within the script writing of the original show. So basically, for the new voice actor for Dale, he is going to be in good hands because it is an actual actor who has not only worked on the show but worked with the actual writing of the show, so would understand who Dale is as a character and so forth.
That's right. Didn't Cotton as the character itself passed away, right? I forgot.
Yes, in the 12th or maybe 11th season, maybe 13th, during the last 3 seasons, Cotton did pass away with having one last good joke with Peggy, that being what was it? Where Peggy is like, "Go on, Cotton, follow that light. Come on, follow that light." Cotton wakes up in his hospital bed and he goes, "Death?" Is like, "Can you put your head up?" Says that to Peggy. And then we come and then on top of that, we go to the emotional gut punch of the episode, in which Hank's final words to Cotton is him saying, "I do not love you," and then from there, Cotton finally dies. So I would be surprised if that is not brought up, and see how Hank is dealing with that being his final words to his dad.
Yeah.
And of course, and I think everyone is also going to be wondering, how long is the charade between Nancy and John Redcorn gonna keep going and keep delving the dark? After this long, I think they do get the cat out of the bag. But I'll be more surprised if the episode starts and we're just hit by, like, in between all these years, Dale eventually learned, and so is now accepted, is not hidden anymore. But I kind of doubt that. It's not only such a good joke, it's such a fundamental aspect of the Gribble family dynamic that to change that is to fundamentally change those characters and their situation. So it's a big risk, but that's something that they do actually have to either address or just dedicate a full episode, because we can't go this long with Dale not finding out.
And it's amazing how long it. I guess okay, throughout this whole time, ever since the announcement, I've been rewatching the episodes for King of the Hill. I did not know how long it took for Peggy to realize this affair.
Oh
I think it was
yeah.
like basically the end to the beginning. It's either the end of season 2 to the beginning of season 3. Like it was literally, I'm like, wow, this has gone on very long, and she didn't realize until then.
Yeah, and I can actually give you that. It was during season 2, probably like towards the later half, because
Mm-hmm.
the finale for season 2, if I remember. No, no, no. Oh no, wait. Now I'm getting all mixed up. Actually, yeah. Actually, yeah, no. Yours probably more accurate. I'm confusing the finale to season 1, the finale of season 1 with the destruction of the Megalomart.
Yeah, that one was well, I think we're just getting into. Oh, for me, I'm just getting into the relapsed remorse from Luann.
Buckley. Uh,
Yeah. Buckley
Buckley's.
always did like this song.
Hey.
Falls over and then like looks up, sees Buckley saying his most famous words. Hey. Just hey. I love
But
how that's all he ever says throughout and the whole show.
and
Hey.
I love that, and love that. Ghetto says they better not change Octavio's voice. I hope not, because that's actually Mike Judge doing his best worst Daddy Trejo impression. Oh man. So so yeah, I think that's all as far as like new information regards to the show. Again, rest in peace, Mr. I'll keep my code Jonathan
Oh,
Jonathan Moore, but I just want to double check. I'm sorry. Jonathan Joss and yes, Jack.
there will be, and there's just a little tidbit that I found somewhere. I just don't remember where. But there will be probably mentions of GH, and not like actually
Oh,
episodes. Yeah, yeah.
that's gonna those are being episodes. Bringing in GH, he will be a kid since it's like only 10 years have passed in the
Mm-hmm.
show. I wonder what they're gonna do with what was the mother's name?
Dee
Uh,
Dee.
yeah, with Deed. I wonder what they're gonna do with her. I wonder if they're gonna keep her very ditzy, or or
I don't think she was ever like purely ditzy, but
she had her moments.
she had her moments. She was just very more like I don't know. I guess because since I'm still in the early seasons, she just doesn't really have that memorable of a personality in the sense of like
Oh, that's
what's
true.
her defining trait.
That's true. She gets more fleshed out in later seasons, but when you definitely introduce her, she's definitely the like very quiet, very like submiss to her husband, which contrasts the
Mm-hmm.
loud mouth brash Cotton with the more quiet, timid Dee Dee.
Mm-hmm.
Though she does, although I do love though as a kind of growth of her character as the show went on, she becomes less and less flattered with Cotton as a person. To by the end of the show, once Cotton's dead, uh, she like once the news was given to her, she goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Like she is not distraught at all over Cotton dying, and by the end of the series, she's already found a new man. I think like she like married a pro wrestler. So she'll be all right. I do wonder if they're gonna keep that up if she's still married to this pro wrestler, or she's gonna be one of those women who's like on their fifth divorce or something. And GA says something.
Well,
GA says something is like, "Mom likes to go on a lot of dates with her boyfriends." we'll we'll see. But as a final words, rest in peace, Mr. Jonathan Joss. We thank you for your contributions to this amazing show. It is a tragedy of 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 how his life here on Earth has ended. So so I do pray and hope that his family does find peace within their trying time, and as well, I do hope the show, much like with Mr. Hardwick and all the other talent that passed over the years, hopefully they can dedicate an episode to Mr. Jonathan Joss upon this unforeseen this uh random tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have to say in regards to King of the Hill. On a more lighter and switching topics here, go from TV shows, want to go into the world of gaming. And first off, I know Jack and I has stated that we will not be getting the Switch 2 when it releases. And just to make sure, Jack, pretend I have a microphone right in front of your face like an obnoxious interviewer. Do you still maintain your position that you will not buy the Switch 2 on launch?
I don't know how peaked it was, but I had my face right into my mic.
I can barely hear anything, but no. So are you still holding off from getting the console?
Oh, definitely. I'm making big purchases already on different things.
Yeah, he's making big changes. You're gonna see some big changes around these parts. Which actually is more truthful than you think, but I'll keep that a mystery for now. And yes, I also will not be getting the Switch 2 on launch day. Actually have planned to pretty much, because it's very a not essential thing to get at all. You know, it's all just for the fun. I've already still like a budget plan where I pretty much am planning to get it by next year. Because by that point, all the games I would want would already be out, and that's enough time for if anything could happen with the launch of the Switch 2. Because you know what, it will be awesome. It will be very awesome if the console launches and nothing happens, and it's just a nice, good launch. But you never know. You never know what's gonna happen, and so hopefully by that point, either the Switch 2 either is something that you shouldn't buy, or all the kinks are worked out and it's a viable product by that point in time. Johnny says, but my man, if we don't start getting those $8 games, how will those CEOs afford food? Just true. We gotta think of the company, Jack. We gotta think of the stockbrokers. Who's helping them out, huh?
It just reminds me of that South Park episode with the piracy thing, like where they take the kids after like they started pirating things. They take them to see all these millionaires, and instead of being able to afford a golden bathtub, they're only able to afford like an extension to their pool.
That's funny. That's funny.
Like, that's terrible. Yeah, this is very sad.
I'm sad. I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. As the co-founder of the JAC Show, you know, we have a responsibility to our stockholders, aka the $10 we invested in the beginning of this series. That's not grown to $12 over the past 5 years. So, you know, put your money into the JAC stock. You never know when you're gonna get big.
Don't worry, we're about to start a new cryptocurrency too.
Yes, we had the Pun coin, but now it's time for the H coin. And you know what the H stands for? No, not that. Get that out of your head. Cochinos.
Damn.
So yeah, Switch 2 launches in Thursday. Bez, get also pointing out, more importantly, it's something that actually would be able to touch, figuratively. Although I would not mind literally, but she's not real. Sad. But in that same day, Elena will be released as the final Season 2 DLC character for Street Fighter V. And I will make it an effort to actually stream Street Fighter 6. Did I say Street Fighter 5? I mean Street Fighter 6 on my personal channel and show her off and just get to have some fun playing the character. So I do want to actually do that, and and luckily I will actually be able to do so. Okay, I did say 6. I don't know why I thought I said 5. Thank you, get them. So that is also, I said June 5th. I was getting my minds mixed up. But yeah, so that will be something I'm be very excited for. While everyone else on YouTube will be doing their inevitable Switch 2 unboxings. That's what the algorithm wants, Jack. You gotta unbox your Switch 2. And if you don't have one, just say you do so you can get those easy clicks.
Gotta know, you gotta buy like 20 Switch 2s and then sell them for double the triple the price.
Oh man. Oh, have you seen like people saying that people are gonna get customers are gonna get confused about what's the packaging of the Switch 1 and the Switch 2?
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. No.
Even though in the packaging the Switch 2 there's a big O2 on it.
Yeah, but you know people don't read.
That is true. I was reminded yesterday from another friend that 40% of this country is illiterate. But I hope that is not a legitimate thing, because how do you explain PlayStation? Heck, the freaking Xbox has a more confusing name of consoles than Nintendo.
It is truly a mystery because the way I heard is that they don't teach words phonetically anymore. No one's hooked on phonics anymore. They teach the word, like the kids nowadays, they read it but they don't understand being able to enunciate every single syllable. That's why you see some people, they'll read a word and it's completely wrong how they're reading it.
That actually explains a lot. Well, I still trust in the 60% of the country that can read, and even I trust that they will know the difference between a Switch and a Switch 2, because if it becomes another Wii U situation, as honestly just one guy on Twitter is making it out to be, he just got a lot of attention. At that point, Nintendo should have given up and been like, we should have just call it the Super Nintendo Switch or the Super Switch. Then maybe people will get it. But the big old fat 2 does not convey that this is a brand new version of the thing you had before, but better. I don't know what would be. It's not like the original Street Fighter 3, which, as a reminder, the original Street Fighter 3, when it was released in arcades, on the top of the arcade banner, which actually says the title, it didn't say Street Fighter 3. It just had the Roman numeral 3, and that's it. Capcom was so up their own butt and so on top of the world that they think just put in an arcade with just the number 3 was more than enough to make people think, oh, that's Street Fighter 3.
Yes.
Well, there's a reason why it took them 2 times to finally get the game fixed.
See, this is why you gotta put in as many adjectives as you need to make the game better.
Exactly, and that's what I enjoy my copy of Ultra Super Street Fighter 2 Hyper Turbo Dash HD Remix Tournament Fighter Rainbow Edition plus Alpha
Arcade Edition
version 2012
remastered into 2025.
Ghetto says, well, I can know first. Johnny says Super Switch sounds like some boys love manga. Nah, man, that's just your that's just your Brazilian mind. Get that out of the gutter.
Now that's his brain rot from all the Instagram reels he's been looking at. Do you know how often he sends me sus reels every single time I start streaming?
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, keep doing that, Johnny. Ghetto says, My cousin works for the school. He said kids these days don't know. They don't know computers. They only comprehend tech if it has the same layout as a smartphone. I can believe that. That's actually has been researched and reported on, and that today's youth are just as technologically illiterate as actual boomers, and that is frightening.
I literally I realized that whenever I was teaching, and then at one point I was trying to, I think it was like in the middle of like chemistry, we were trying to do some calculations, and I was trying to say like, do you know unit conversions, like going from this to that? So like for example, and then I tried to use something that everyone should know, phones. So like, you know how like in your phones there's like megabyte and gigabyte, and
Yep.
they all looked at me as if I was, as if I grew a third face.
What's that, teach?
I'm like, do you not know what a gigabyte or megabyte is? Like, no. Do you
Nah,
ever see what's on your phone? Like how would you know if you have too much storage or not enough storage?
I just delete some pictures, teach.
Like I just see if the number is bigger or not.
uh, oh man, good thing it didn't grow. You know what? Maybe we should bring back blocks as a unit of storage, a unit of memory.
No, what we need to do is normalize having computer classes again.
Yeah, especially since in a lot of modern schools, a lot of these students end up having computers anyways, like little personal laptops.
Mm-hmm.
So they should at least know how to, at the minimum, how to navigate a laptop, and as Ghetto say, know how to open a folder on a desktop.
Yep.
Johnny says, "Will be real goofy if people start needing computer classes again." Hey, you know what? You know what though?
We need it.
We, you know what? We do need it, and guess what? There gonna be tons of computer science majors who finally have a real calling in their career. And
Yeah, you know what? I'll use my degree to go teaching how to use a computer.
hey man, that's not the worst thing to use your degree for. You that's the worst thing you could do. You could end up, I don't know, what's a you could end up being a teacher at a coding boot camp back when those were relevant.
I mean, what's the difference? The pay is the same.
Gala says they have Chromebooks. Them shits are pretty much just tablets. Hey, we gotta ease them in, all right? Okay, the mouse, this ancient technology. It's like teaching someone how to write with ink and a feather. You gotta ease them in.
Also, if I'm correct, they're not giving them Chromebooks anymore.
No, they
Either
got
that or Chrome is like discontinuing the Chromebook because of the fact that these people are destroying them.
these people. These people.
Hey.
The children.
Exactly. These rambunctious children
this
are literally putting pencil lead inside a USB port and looking at it burn.
You know what?
That was literally a trend that was happening. They were getting pencil lead,
Oh my
put it inside
god.
the USB port, and you were seeing it spark and start smoking, and these kids were just like laughing their asses off, burning something. I'm like, literally the next video over was one on fire, like engulfed in flames with their desk.
Children are just cavemen. They gotta be civilized. We gotta whip them into shape. Yeah, you know what? We gotta put the fear of the computer god in them instead of having them learn on desktops. No, not on laptops. No, get them a chunky fat computer desktop with a state of the art computer that has 4 GB of RAM, and teach them how to use a word processor.
Yeah, then eventually they'll all become Excel champions. Have you ever seen those Excel tournaments?
No, because I'm not a nerd.
They're weird. They're so weird. It's like they open up several different tabs of an Excel sheet, and each tab has its own little goal. Like one will be like rearrange all these columns that so you can have all the same color on one side, or rearrange these to calculate this and that. And they don't have none of them have any mouses. It's just purely keyboard, and all you hear is just the clicking clack of God knows what, and it's just like magic is happening on the Excel sheet.
And each one of those nerds has a glove they have to wear because recommended from their chiropractor.
I kind of wonder, do they have accounting jobs? Because if they don't, they need to. Because like seriously, they would beat out the competition.
Nah,
I won't have to wait 2 to 3 business days for my charge to be pending. It'll be processed in like 5 seconds with these people.
oh yeah, that would be amazing. I would love to live in a world in which all of these virtual wallets we're using and these accounts, that all of the money that's going in and out just takes seconds rather than a few days. Not unless you pay a small fee, which is still bullshit, but whatever. It's a bunch of bullshito. Bullshito.
And we gotta figure out how we can do this.
This is why you gotta invest in H coin.
Yeah. I was always thinking to myself, like, what if I just took an accounting job and automated that for myself? Like, not even give that to anyone, not even like mention it. I'll just have a USB, put it in with like the program I have, and automate my job, but make it look like I'm still doing something, and then just easy money.
Then you will rise to the top, and be like, well, I guess they're running this thing now. And then but because you can tell other people to do stuff, you just do that while you sit inside your office in private and just play emulated GameCube games all day.
And then 5 years later, the company will be like, we're sad to see you go, Jack, but we gotta let you go because we just are trying to cut on departments. We have this fancy new program that lets me automate everything that your job is doing. Like, oh, okay. What, you're not sad? No.
No, because then you get the final thing where he said, "No, I'm not sad because I invented that and I have the patent." And then you leave because now they have to pay you in order to use your program that you were developing
I wish.
with their resources on the side.
No, I wish. By that point, that can actually be legally bad for me because then they'll be saying that I'm taking money from them.
Not if you can prove that you use none of the company resources to create this program. And just be like, I'm a real entrepreneur. I'm it's like, hey, it's like, I own this patent. If you want to use this, you gotta pay me some dollar bills, y'all. For every line of code you write in, I get 2 cents.
Damn, that's a lot of money.
Exactly. Oh, we were talking about the Switch too. Yeah, so that will be coming out, but more importantly, Elena will be coming, so to speak, and I will be excited to play her once again, and hopefully she doesn't break the game like she broke Ultra Street Fighter 4.
I can't wait for her to automatically heal to full health again.
If they do that, if they do that, then Street Fighter 4 really has returned. Oh man! In other gaming, not really news, but these are rumors. But these are the fun kind of rumors, not the drama ones. But there were some rumors I read about what could be within Resident Evil 9. Now again, none of this is verified information. It is all speculation, but they are things that are within plausibility. So here is what here is what the current rumors are in regards to Resident Evil 9. So, first off, that there is a high chance that the game will be revealed this summer during the Summer Game Fest, which is basically what replaced E3. And I have never watched any single second of it because I don't know, I just don't care for it. But that is what the rumor is, and that's very plausible. Is where you get the biggest eyes within the gaming industry, and so if you're gonna reveal a big game like Resident Evil 9, you want everyone to notice. Second rumor: Leon will return as the protagonist, and it is seen that way so that there is some continuity between the new versions of RE2 and 4. So, you know what? I would not mind being Leon again in an actually brand new story, not a remake of his past adventures, but a new Leon for like within a new story. I actually would like that because not since RE6 has Leon actually been in a new RE game.
Leon.
I
wonder if he's gonna still be a drunkard.
Actually, that would depends if that is something they kept with, because that's only relevant within RE6 and like the RCG movies. I don't know if that is still his characterization in the new RE world with the remakes. So probably not.
I'm done with the bottle. Time to kick ass.
Time to, as he chows down some painkillers.
From one vice to another.
And snorts all the green herbs. Not digest it, snorts it. The next rumor that it would be a third-person game, and it will be considered a reinvention of this series. That could mean anything. If we're done with the Ethan storyline, so I see no reason to go back to the first-person stuff. So that's also very plausible if we're gonna have a returning RE protagonist. You want to see all their beautiful faces in all their 3D model glory. As for how it will be reinvented, who knows? A part of me wants to be a troll and say that they're gonna go back to the fixed camera angles, but obviously that's not going to enter even the conversation. But a little bit wants that to happen just for the lulz. The next rumor is that it will lean more towards horror over action, but still have action in it. So basically, try to ride that balance that RE4 did with having a good balance of horror and action. That I think at this point, almost all the RE games past 6 are a good balance of horror and action. So I don't see them why they need to change, or why there will be a need to change that. So that's not even I don't even think it feels like it's even a rumor. There's more like it's kind of obvious. The setting rumor is that the setting would be very gothic, quote unquote witchy, whatever that means. Maybe Leon's gonna be killing some big booby goth zombies. I don't know.
Oh no! Careful! She's charging her crystals under the moonlight.
You joke, but maybe they like see we had viruses, we have molds. What could be another thing? We had parasites. So what could be another thing that is dangerous to humans in nature?
Bacteria?
Isn't You know what? Yeah, there we go. We go straight into the bacteria, into the micro level, and when they do that, guess what will happen, Jack? As soon
Mm-hmm.
as that happens, old PlayStation fans will just say that the RE9 is just ripping off Parasite Eve because that game did the whole horror with bacteria thing.
Oh, you know what? You know what? To make it even more bleak, prions, prions.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go that small. We're gonna go that small with the threat.
Oh well, I say bleak because there has been no known way to actually cure anything that's like prion related. With prions, uh, since it's protein based, anyone can get it.
No, but that still goes back to Parasite Eve with the mitochondria and the protein cell. Yeah, nah, that's still Parasite Eve territory. You can't go too microscopic. You know what? F it.
Nanomachines.
Nano zombies. That's there. Boom. Nano zombies.
Nanomachines, son.
So
That's right. That's right. You know what? The president died, so the senator was the one that was pulling the strings all along.
I knew Armstrong. It's time for Jack to let her rip. Lastly, we're almost done. Next rumor is RE9 will be a conclusion game, quote unquote, and also a new beginnings. Capcom wants to drop the numbers to tell more unique stories in the RE universe rather than needing everything to be ties together or the legacy titles. So that one I can actually believe because by this point we're almost into like the double digits, and I could see Capcom be like, okay, we're not gonna be doing RE10, RE12, RE13.
I was really hoping for
RE13 RE13-2.
Oh, but it would have been perfect. You know why? It would have been RE Friday the 13th. Screw the legality.
Resident Evil the 13th. Oh, that would be fun. Oh, I mean 10. Oh no, wait, no, never mind. Jace is not in. He's not in Dead by Daylight. Never mind. And lastly, is expected to release in 2026. So next year. Again, all of this is rumors. Some things are kind of no duh, but some of them are within plausibility. Report, and the guy is not doing say anything that's outrageous. So this leads me to what I actually want to ask. Since actually, did you actually get to play RE4 remake? Because I know I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I only haven't played it only because I lack the hardware to do so. I don't trust my my laptop to even run RE4 the remake that should be, and I don't want to invest in a PS5 or Xbox Series X. So with that said, if Leon does return, kudos. I would like to see Leon see again a much more older Leon and much more well I guess it would be more wearied or at the very least a more experience and much how we saw Chris in RE7 and RE8. And if we're gonna and since especially with if you with 8 with RE8 and RE4 remake, because a lot of them definitely had some like village and gothic vibes, especially 8, and with RE4, while not gothic in the sense of like how we the contemporary definition of gothic, but because there is like you do go to a church with gothic architecture, you still have that gothic influence in RE4, the traditional gothic. So
did they ever have a rumor for an RE5 remake?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. And if they did, we're gonna do one. It could be right after RE9. if they're gonna do that. But RE5 and 6, I don't know. I don't know if they ever want to remake those games because they're a lot more action oriented, and they tonally and gameplay wise don't fit with the current design trends of Resident Evil. I mean, they could always do it, but but because RE5 and 6, they are very divisive games. I don't see Capcom want to put millions of dollars into something that potentially half their audience may like.
I guess, but I really wanted to see Sheva again. It's been
I know we want to see
forever.
update. We want to see Sheva in the RE engine. That would be amazing. Instead of stuck with her 2009 model, her not Unreal Engine, her MT framework model.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Johnny comments. He says this game will be canceled. Turn it to DMC6. Well, you know what? You know what, Johnny? That's not gonna happen. But because Hideki Kamiya is working with Capcom again on Okami 2, if Okami 2 is successful, and Okamiya in a recent interview did state that he has interest in returning to Devil May Cry, returning back to the series he created, that's not out of the question. And it will be nice to see Kamiya make one more Devil May Cry game that's not just the first game. So I'm not saying it will happen, but I am saying it is not off the table. It is something that could happen, but Okami 2's got to sell a bajillion units, or at least enough for Capcom to say it was worth the investment. And lastly, Johnny says, any franchise try to distance itself from legacy titles successfully? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about it right now, and uh, uh, hmm. No.
I got nothing.
Yeah, you can maybe argue Metal Gear Solid. I said maybe argue because you have the Metal Gear games and you have the Metal Gear Solid games. It's a stretch.
Oh, what about Shin Megami with Persona?
Well, that's more of a spin-off. Is not it that's more of a spin-off than a a legacy title. Gil says, as I said before, crispy alcoholic in 6 is perfect. If I lost a sexy woman with a cute accent as my partner, I inject Everclear straight to my veins for the rest of my life. Oh,
the Redfield bloodline must continue.
In Africa. But no, you know what? Yeah, but to your point, Johnny, yeah, I can't think of any. Granted, at this point, it's fine if Resident Evil doesn't want to commit to the numbers. God of War did. Actually, yeah, that's actually a good example. Like in both in how they not just how they title their games, but even in gameplay, there's a distinct difference between the older God of War games and the two new ones. The only sad part is that at the very least they made a lot more older God of War games, even spin-offs. While the newer ones, you just got the 2 and their DLC, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Which, man, that's something I have, just something that's been more apparent as time goes on, in that it's a double-edged sword. Like, a lot more games were made back then, but because of that, the quality was all over the place. Like God of War, for example, if you just strictly played 1, 2, and 3, there are solid action games that build upon each other. But then once you play the PSP games, or if you try or go over to God of War Ascension, then it's all a mixed bag, and they kind of feel all samey. But at least you had a plethora of God of War games to play in which you can either follow the main story or all these side stuff with Kratos. But if you try to get to the newer ones, you just got the God of War and God of War Ragnarok, and that's about it. But I thought, but of course that goes to show that as many people within the video game world has stated, games has gotten so much more expensive that it takes 4 or 5 years just to make one game, which is unfortunate because you get a lot of examples of games that were made in which they were made were design trends or game design that was popular 4 or 5 years ago. Biggest example would be Concord, because Sony wanted to get on that hero shooter hype train during a time when, up until Marvel Rivals kind of revived interest in that genre, was pretty much at a low point because Blizzard pretty much ruined Overwatch's reputation over the years, and every other hero shooter that wasn't Overwatch just fell by the wayside.
Yep.
Yeah, you remember Battleborn, right?
Barely.
what's there?
Remember Paladin or Paladins? I think it was with an S.
Barely.
Exactly.
So there you go. And so the fact that Concord, especially with the way how its visual design was going to be, was going to somehow be the next big Sony exclusive. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Then they were like, yeah, I guess hero shooters aren't that popular. Marvel Rivals came out.
Johnny says,
well, I guess we just suck.
Yeah, which is funny because apparently the actual gameplay was like really tight and good. Just everything around it sucked.
I thought the gameplay was just like pretty mid from what I heard. Like in the sense of like they didn't really reinvent anything. It just felt like any other hero shooter.
Well, I mean, yeah, it could still be a good a good feeling game. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's very innovative or original. Yeah, but that's what I that's what I've heard. I have not played it, nor will I ever get the chance to. And even if I was given the chance, I would be like, nah, I'm good. So I'm just going by
wait to ask.
That's what I hope for word of mouth.
I still need to ask that Walmart if they can just give me the Origin edition of Overwatch, because like technically it's no longer it's defunct, so there's no reason for them to keep it.
You know what? Put all your stats at charisma. Maybe, just maybe. Let's see. Johnny says everything has been said about it, but Concord's failure still amazes him. And he says all the marketing, and they didn't just fall short. They straight up killed the servers. No one had that in their bingo card. Oh, did you see the news story? That's one of the devs sold their plaque of like celebrating that they finished the game, and it was and people saw it at a thrift store.
that means they didn't even like sell it. They just
gave it away. Yep, and I think from my last saw there was a bidding war going on for whoever wanted the Concord development plaque.
Damn.
So there you go. So there, Concord's legacy right in the thrift store. Not my thrift store, but a thrift store nonetheless. Oh, and also Jack, by the way, if you ever well, no, you know, wait, I'll mention it just so that you know. But an underrated place to shop for discount games or stuff that's older, that people kind of overlook, Goodwill, but only their online store.
Only the online store?
Mm-hmm. You'll be surprised at what you could find in Goodwill's website. Yeah. Now, granted, if you try to get like an actually rare game, like rare, they're going to want every penny out of that rare game. But if you do like want some random game that you play from the GameCube or your Xbox, you will be able to find it on Goodwill's website at a decent, affordable price. So it's
What's
just
their website, shopgoodwill.com, or what is
it is. I had to has to be specific because unfortunately it's not just Goodwill.com, which by the way,
Damn.
they are not a .com, they are a .org. I have to learn that the hard way. But the website that I am talking about is called goodwillbooks.com. That's where you could find basically them selling all their media stuff. They sell books, movies, games, and music. So everyone looking for affordable secondhand media items, goodwillbooks.com. That's repeat, that is goodwillbooks.com. Sound like an ad. Sound like we just did our sponsor segment. Now we got to cut to the actual stream. I wouldn't mind being sponsored by Goodwill. I like going to I like going to their stores.
They're selling Pokemon Scarlet for $44.
There you go. So there, you don't have to pay. You can buy Nintendo games without having to pay the Nintendo prices. Granted, I don't know why you want to play a Switch Pokemon game, but that's your prerogative if you choose to do so.
No, I already got all the Pokemon anyways from a friend.
Yeah, from a friend, quote unquote. I gotcha. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
How dare you insinuate that I didn't get them legitimately, especially with the fact that you can get banned. Surprisingly.
Oh man. Hey, wait, hold on. Oh wow! Breaking news: Street Fighter finally got new outfits.
Yeah.
But only for the DLC characters.
Oh.
They finally got their outfit 3s, but the rest of the cast, you still have to wait. Actually, pretty good though. Terry's got his basketball gear on. He's got a joysy. He's gonna
Joysy.
Yeah, he's just play ball. We can watch it instead of me describing it here. We can watch it. It's a short clip. Why not? It's breaking news. It's breaking news.
Oh my god! The Pokemon 2000 DVD. Remember that one?
Oh, that was my favorite Pokemon movie watching growing up, and I saw that on VHS. That's why that's how Lugia became my favorite. It became my favorite legendary. And
you know what we should do?
What?
Play the song. Get your saxophone, play it right now.
It's been a long time since I've seen Pokemon the movie 2000. I don't remember the music from that. I don't remember the music. Also, I share the video. It's on X, so we can watch it real quick. It's very short. So we go full screen here. All right, let me know when you're ready. We'll watch the video.
I am ready.
All right, let's watch the trailer for the new outfits for Street Fighter 6 in 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh. Interesting. Oh my god, Buzz cut Bison.
Look. Just look at the swag on Bison. There we go, and there's Jersey Terry right there with the Is that a do-rag? No, that's not a do-rag. That's just a headband.
No, that's not a do-rag.
And my with the nail salon look.
How dare they cover her up? God damn these people! They.
Whoa, what's Eleanor wearing?
Oh, I actually like this one.
Is crisscross Eleanor here? Salt and pepper.
I like this outfit. It looks pretty cool. I like it.
I mean, yeah, they all look cool.
The hair.
Honestly, they're all solid. Dang it. I gotta spend money. Jack, give me money.
No.
Give me it. I need to buy the costumes.
No. Only I'm the impulse buyer here.
Never. Alexi says bites his fist just Brian from Tekken a little bit, particularly his Tekken 7 costume. He also wished that they gave my her maximum impact, which I forgot what that looked like. And oh, you know what? Yeah, I could see it, Johnny, with especially with the long sleeves Mai was wearing. She did look like Chizuru for a brief second. But if anything, when I saw Mai's outfit, I thought like she looks like a woman who just came out of a hair salon or works at not a nail salon or works at a nail salon. That's the vibe I got from her outfit. Just have her sit in a chair with messing with the that that little thing that you use to on your nails to kind of what to not rub them down, to not sharpen, what is it,
the file.
Yeah, that
file
thing. Yeah, that
filed
thing.
them down.
Yeah, that's what she looks like. Like there's like her idol pose needs to be her in that chair, that same chair, except she's just filing her nails. That's what that outfit screams to me. And with that, it is time to start closing things off because that was all for this evening. Plus, you get a little extra Street Fighter stuff. So with that, Jack, go ahead and share your announcements until then that you will be doing until the next episode of the HAC JAC Show.
So for tomorrow, there will not be any streaming. I got plans for tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, I should be playing Cursed Halo with Mr. Winter VT on Twitch. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jack. And as on my end, I will do a showcase stream of Elena when she arrives on June 5th. And I will be able to actually stream on the day she releases. So I'll be actually doing something that's actually brand new exciting release. I am also working diligently on the Spider Blood episode, which I kid you not, led me down a rabbit hole to kind of just a little tease about the next Spider Blood episode. It led me down a rabbit hole to figure out that there for the first season there's like 2 ways to watch that first season. Oh my gosh. And I'll mention that in that episode, but yeah, it led me down that rabbit hole. And of course I will sporadically be releasing random video topics, whether it be on comic books, TV shows, or movies that I want to share on my solo channel, which is The Only Hack on YouTube.com. Oh, with that, thank you very much for watching episode 214 of the HAC JAC Show. And that reminds me, Jack, before you leave, I do need to speak with you regarding future plans for special episodes for the show, and I must only mention it now so I don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't leave yet when we end the show. And for everyone else watching, thank you very much for watching till the end, and thank you very much if you're watching the replay after the fact. We hope you enjoyed the show and have a good rest of your day and night. And this is HAC and Jack signing out.
Jack and only Jack signing out. Good night, everyone.